Oh, speaking of which, here's a little something interesting. I left off because my game started acting kind of weird, and I, flipped on the script logs last night and saw that in, I don't know, maybe 15 seconds, I had like a 10 megabyte file with 250,000 lines of the same error.
Yeah, I remember hearing you talk about this last night.
What's
Yeah.
that?
I remember hearing you talk about this in the Skype last night.
Yeah, and
That sounds pretty intense, man.
yeah, and it's from the Automatron DLC. Basically, there's if you guys played through it, it's not a spoiler, but there's this stupid track where the robots are hanging from. That's like an assembly line thing. All of that, instead of being just a single NIF that's an animated thing, somebody there made some extremely complicated, like, it's got 5 objects with 10 scripts that are spawning and despawning these things and animating them all at the same time. And so basically one of them screwed up and the thread is stuck. And so I have to revert 4 hours. So my whole point was that it's kind of funny that, everyone's like, oh, mods, be careful with mods, whatever. And then the Automatron DLC is what screws me. Yeah.
Well, didn't the Wasteland Workshop fuck everybody's saves too? And then they had to fix it with the unofficial patch?
I don't know.
I heard about that. That's different though. But yeah, it sounds like Fading that it's like they have like a trapped condition, so it's just a loop that's firing over and over.
Yeah.
Is that what you think's happening? Yeah.
Yeah, basically, it's like they have like a cleanup script that runs, and
Bethesda, we've known for a while that Bethesda doesn't have QA. I mean,
well, and like going through the code, there's a lot of comments where they'll say things like, "This isn't really the best way to do this, but here goes," stuff like that. I'm like, oh, okay, so yeah, it's a little dicey. Anyway, so yeah, my game is borked, and the none of this save game tools work with it right now. It just crashes when I try to run them.
So it makes the fact that I don't tab and space my shit seem okay. All right.
No formatting.
Just no formatting.
just chalk it up to obfuscation. You don't want people reading your scripts, Darren.
No, it's because most of the time is like I was trying to tell somebody like my fucking my Columbia script. It's literally named DD_test_Columbia. Because it was supposed to just be a test of the initial, and now it's 500 lines with no spacing, and even I don't know what the fuck's going on anymore.
I don't want to see it, man.
Oh god, it's terrible. I'm like, because I was like
coding nightmares already.
I was like, I'm gonna make this work. Oh, I'm gonna try this. Now I'm gonna try this. Now I'm gonna try this. Well, I wonder if this works. Well, now I need a while loop. Like, and it's just like, I gotta rewrite this because I don't even know what's going on anymore. I just know that
refactoring, yeah.
when Columbia goes forward, it works and the thing rebuilds, but I don't know why anymore.
All right, I've seen compile it and then decompile it, and then it'll all be formatted.
Oh, that's a good point. Caprica will decompile it, right? Won't it?
Napoleon will.
Is someone shooting somebody in a game right now? I'm hearing some kind of.
Oh, sorry, no, it's me tapping my pen.
No.
It's the SWAT team breaking into Darren's place.
Yeah,
it's me. It's a solid oak desk. When I make any noise on it, this mic will pick it up. Like it's.
And you are giving me a shit for my mic.
I gotta head out, party people.
All right.
Bye. Yeah, man.
Hey, take care.
Someone should report this CK on Beth.net. Oh yeah, by the way, viewers, this is another thing you should not do. You should not make a bunch of fake accounts and report every mod for offensive content. You should not do that. You should never do that. Do not do that. Do not do that.
Are people doing that? That's kind of ridiculous.
No, apparently, like, the unofficial Skyrim patch got removed. It's automated. It's worse than fucking Blizzard's...
The Fallout 4 patch.
Fallout 4 patch, sorry. It's worse than, like, Blizzard's has an automated thing that'll, like, chat ban you if enough people report you on the forums. That's pretty much what Bethesda is. It's basically automated. If you report shit, it'll get taken down. So... just whatever you do not go onto Bethesda and make 100 fake accounts and report every mod. There is zero repercussions for that, so do not do it.
God damn it, Darren.
I'm still, I still can't upload. Like, from within the CK and within the game, I can't download mods.
But your campsite shit is, like, in the top files.
No, I know. I uploaded that right when I got access, and as soon as they did the wider beta, like a week and a half ago, whatever update that came down broke login, and it's broken locally. It doesn't even try to get out to the internet.
So who did you piss off? Because you do realize you have to give Bethesda people blowjobs in order to get shit done.
Well, I was even emailing with G staff, and like they couldn't figure it out. But there's a few other people having the problem. I don't know what it is.
Did he tell you why don't you upload to Bethesda.net and then it would work?
No, somebody came in.
turning it off and back on again.
Script manager.
No, you got to use the script manager to.
Yeah, there you
Dude,
go.
fading the CK. It just you boot it up and wow, it just worked. Mods.
Yeah. Todd Howard comes into your living room through the screen and helps you. No, so yeah, I can't upload anything else there, so I have to bribe somebody to upload my other shit up there.
Todd Howard mod and resource.
And you can even log in the CK.
No, like I can log into Bethesda.net, like the app launcher. I can log into the site fine, but from within the CK and within the game in the mods tab, both give me an error before I even log in that just says, internal error number 709 or 79.
Wow.
Yeah, we kind of touched on the Bethesda.net being AIDS, but we really didn't mention certain things about their forums, like having to re-log in every 17 seconds. Their fucking word filters, their forums being auto-subscribing you to a forum thread the moment you make any response to it.
Yeah, it looks like they got some sort of community app package that they used out of the box without really refining or something, or they just made a shit one.
That actually makes sense. They just used a piece of crap template.
That's what it kind of seems like. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, the forums are the worst part. Like, I really don't mind the whole mods browser. It's very streamlined.
Epitome of shyness and everybody wondering about how this creation kit works. Well, you basically start up the creation kit and then you just yell "make mod," and then as long as you have the image in your head, it just works. And then
that's it.
I mean, Dogtooth is probably the biggest one right here. Like he just made that XO2 armor. It just fucking created itself.
Yeah, there's a tab called animation.
Yeah.
You just yell what you want it to do.
Yeah, and it's great. It's usually
make
while
new
telling
gun, and it just.
First, you gotta wait because it takes a while for it to boot up all of the awesome magic to make it
Yeah,
happen.
of course. Oh yeah, it takes a little while.
Now, we make fun of this, and then in 20 years, bet your ass there's gonna be programs you just boot it up and you're like, make gun, and it'll be like, what type of gun? And then you just tell it I want it to be blue.
It's actually really interesting. There's actually a lot of talk about that, about how we're trending towards press a button to do anything.
Idiocracy. We're tending toward idiocracy, dude.
Yeah.
Have you guys ever heard of the Quixel Suite?
Yes.
Okay. For those who don't know, it's a texturing program. And if you don't know how to use it, it's pretty much a make art button.
What?
You take a model, you assign some colors to it, you select those colors in the viewer, and you select prefab physically based materials, and they'll just apply. So if you want metal, you just click the metal button, and all of a sudden you
True,
have...
yeah, it works. It works for a lot of things, I think. I mean, you're not going to get anything custom, obviously, but if you need materials, I think it's pretty good. I've never actually used it, but
you're not going to get absolutely incredible results with it, but they'll be pretty good.
Yeah, better than average. And it's probably a good base to build on top of too, if you don't know what you're doing.
Yeah, I mean, I've had it for years. I stopped using it because, well, my license got borked and they weren't doing anything about it. But, there's this big backlash back when it first came out because it really was just like a make art button. They didn't have any customization options in it when it first dropped.
That's weird. Do they have full brushes and everything now? Like you can do full painting in there?
You can paint with masks now, not materials themselves, which I like a lot better. Because painting with actual materials, they tend to just instance the tiling textures.
Oh, okay.
Which tends to look like shit.
This is great.
I still use Photoshop for everything, but obviously when you're dealing with stuff like seams and whatever, it's not that good.
Yeah.
So I've been using 3D Coat, kind of learning that to try to I'll start a texture in Photoshop and finish it there and then clean it up in 3D Coat.
With the seams, you can, I forget the word because I don't really do too much texturing in Photoshop, but there's a free transform function where you can kind of move the texture over and it will show you the seam.
I saw that one. I think that helps if you've got kind of a seamless type thing, but in my case, it'll end up being kind of too dark or kind of whatever. I know that there's so many techniques for blending it. I just have not dived in all the way and figured those out. But
Well, Fading, have you looked into Substance Painter?
I've looked at it, but I haven't tried it out yet. That's way up on the list. I know that's the one everyone favors, right?
Yeah, I've been, I got Pixel Suite when it first came out. I was using Photoshop before that. And then I got Substance when it was first in beta. And And I actually preferred Sweet for a long time because Sweet, in my opinion, gives you technically better results because it's got the bad PBR and all that crap.
Yeah.
But, I was really used to painting everything by hand in Photoshop, and you can't do that in Sweet. But with Substance, it's pretty much identically to painting in Photoshop, except it's real-time 3D on your topology.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, it's really easy to blend away seams when they're pretty much non-existent.
Yeah, that was something with the SkySight skins for Skyrim that was like probably took like a quarter of the time, was just getting all of like the seams perfected, because that was my first like serious texture work for Skyrim. I think having Substance Painter would have saved me a lot of time.
Well, I would definitely recommend you pick up Substance too, because it just came out.
Yeah, I'm looking on their site right now, actually.
I've got it, and I'm paying for the subscription every month, even though I'm probably never gonna utilize.
How much is the sub?
$20, but it's pay to own.
That's awesome, actually.
Yeah, and there's no interest, there's no nothing. So once you've paid $200, you can then put that into the Substance Painter 2 itself, and then keep paying the subscription. You get as you pay the subscription, you get access to everything. Okay. And then the moment you've bought them all 4 of their programs, or the fuck it is, you can just stop and you own them all.
That's great. Because I don't like the idea of paying for it in perpetuity if I'm only using it like twice a month.
It's awesome. Yeah. It's a fucking great thing. Like, that's why I don't have any issue putting the money in, because I'm not using it right now, and I doubt I'll ever use it fully because I'm pretty shit at texturing. But it's something that when I've got people working with me, I don't want them, I want to know what it takes for them to do something. And so to do that, I have to learn how to do it.
Yeah,
even if I learn how to do it shitty, at least I know how to do it and know the time and effort they're taking to put into doing something. So, and it allows me to modify shit pretty easy too. I can just do little modifications to crap if I want to.
Yeah, that's cool.
For the texture work, when you were in Photoshop, did you ever try the 3D part? Because I know they have a 3D section where you can.
I did, and it's not bad. That helps. It's no, I mean it's not bad, but it's kind of clunky, it's a little bit slow, at least in my experience. And the manipulating the object and stuff is just kind of weird. It doesn't really work like most 3D programs. It's okay. It's passable, but it's not too great. But I have to mention I'm using CS6 because I bought that a long time ago. So I'm not using, whatever the newest version is. Yeah. I'm sure their 3D stuff is better.
I'm using the same version of Photoshop. I just never played around with the 3D part too much.
It's horrible. It's horrible.
Yeah, not good. I guess take his word for it. He's much more of an authority on 3D than I am. That's for damn sure.
What breaks my heart about all the texture effort stuff is seeing all the love and time and energy that goes into making something. And some of these just look absolutely awesome. Skyrim is a whole new game to me after I got Verdant and a couple other some texture and mesh overhauls, and then some wall texture stuff. It really felt like it could compete with a lot of the modern the quote unquote next gen stuff in terms of graphics quality. Yeah. And it breaks my heart to see some people I got this mod for the sword, and then 10 minutes later it's the next shiny. It's just so painful to see people kind of mass consume this stuff almost like French fries. This thing took 10 hours to put together and balance just right, and someone's oh, delicious. Oh, okay, next thing. Oh, and,
just the sort of the kind of single serving mods, kind of, I guess.
Yeah. It just people will hop on oh my god, this thing is so cool for maybe for a day, and then it's next thing I uninstall that, and then it's just this. Yeah. It's crazy to see the turnover, I guess, with that kind of stuff.
I think it's such a huge problem though. It's way bigger than mods. It's just ADHD.
Yeah, for
it's
sure.
Just,
And
I'll admit that I'm the things that I install are things that I'm even with Fallout 4. I manage everything manually because mods that I'm installing are mods that I never intend on removing. But I do get that where it's instead of just being okay, cool, there's these cool mods, I'm just going to play the game now. I'm just obsessively trying to find more and more stuff.
Yeah.
Every day I'm in there going, oh shit, there's a new weapon. Does it work good? I want that. I want more stuff. Yep.
Yeah. I haven't been able to play it just because I'm of that mentality. I can't get past level 20 before I'm just nope, I gotta start all over.
I just gave up trying to play. I just gave up.
My issue is that I like with Skyrim, I still have the very first character that I ever started is still the only one that I have. It's like hundreds of hours.
Wow.
And there's still side quests and I'd never finished the Thieves Guild quest, for example. I never finished what else? There's other side stuff. But my point is that I like with me, instead of starting over all the time, I just keep trying to make the game grow and grow and grow and add more stuff. I want it to just be this evolving, living thing, and it's just impossible to do.
See,
What level
I
is
feel
your
like-
character in Skyrim?
God, it's been so long since I fired it up, I can't remember. Like 80, 85 or something.
That's pretty high.
You know what? I think I'm like 79. I think I'm right about to, because I haven't fought the Ebony Warrior yet.
when you run out of room for however many mods you can have, if you just do that.
Merge plugins.
We're modders and we know how to merge them.
Yeah,
Oh,
I've
yes.
merged.
I don't.
But
I've hit 255 about 5 or 6 times and merged down by about 30 or 40 each time. So I think the last time I calculated, I had like 500 or something. But that's, you got to think like 30 or 40 of those are weapons.
yeah.
Another 20 of those are like game settings or whatever. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, my Skyrim runs like shit because every town has like 500 NPCs. I mean, it's gorgeous and it's amazing and rich and alive and runs at like 30 frames per second in Whiterun. Everywhere else is okay, but so yeah, I'll be starting over and doing something light. But yeah, I feel myself getting that way with Fallout, where I keep adding more and more stuff, but. It's not. Thankfully, it's more just like objects and enemies and stuff like that. It's not like I have like 5,000 quest mods or whatever.
Oh, by the way, Fading, did you see that somebody... It's not on Hot Files anymore, but it was there. It was basically like more spawn points for... It was basically what you were doing with the random encounters, but way more bad in terms of compatibility issues because they edited like hundreds of vanilla cells.
Yeah, so yeah, I saw that. I was gonna try it out, but I'm still playtesting my thing. It's actually it's cool because even though mine runs with script, it's so unpredictable. Like I got attacked by a Mirelurk queen that was on a rooftop, spitting down at me.
The fuck?
That was pretty cool.
Yeah, he's got a random enemy spawner that locks it down to nav mesh and does it out of line of sight of the character, so you can have random encounters as you're running around the wasteland. It's
Nice.
like what the other guy tried to do, except for the other guy's was shitty, to say. I mean, like, it works, but
Well,
it's
he had
going
the
to
right
corrupt
idea.
the
And that's what
game.
I was going to do initially, but as we know, editing cells everywhere, like the game was.
It's the same reason I'm really happy that Settlement Keywords Independent is on the fucking Hot Files right now, because it adds all the form lists to the menus
in game, right?
in script, one shot, like bam, bam, it's in if you want it. And there's this cleanup. They added a cleanup for it, which will remove the form lists as well if you want to uninstall it. It's
That's
what I've been
great.
bitching about for months. I'm like, why don't you just fucking do it via script? Because you can. That's what I'm going to do with my mods all going forward. If they edit the building menu, they're going to add their own menus via script, so there's no overlap.
The only thing
But
that I need.
scripts are evil, you know that.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah,
No.
as soon as you put them in, they explode. The thing that I need
That's
to
what
figure
she
out
said.
is
Script heaviness. Everyone run away.
run away. I need
how
to
I
balance it a
approach
tiny
sex,
bit
too.
more as far as what spawns. Like I just keep getting characters spawning at my exact level, so I need to diversify it up a little bit. But the
It's
other
sort of like
thing,
the stupidity I did with turret defense, where it gave random items and would hand people bobbleheads and anchors and shit.
that's kind of cool. Yeah, at least it's unpredictable. But no, placing anything. I'm using place at me, but in the in Fallout 4 there are and you know this, there's overrides you can pass in for making it temporary and cleaning it up when it's able, like delete when able and
Delete
whatever.
label, it's a good
But I don't
function.
know that it ever actually runs. You know what I mean? I got to double check that because there's like glowing ghouls I killed outside of some settlement that have been there for like 5 days.
Just pass them to a ref collection alias that has an event on death.
That would probably work. That'd be easy. And then just on death, set a timer so they don't
Set a
just
timer and then delete itself. Yeah.
like 24 hours. So yeah, I gotta just do those little cleanup. But what's cool is like there's times when I'm like, is this
No.
vanilla spawn?
Do what Skyrim did. Do what Skyrim did and put them all in their own individual cell where you can go and check
Oh,
your body
God.
count later.
Jesus Christ, no.
The best shit ever.
You can also just cast a spell on them that captures the on death event and do it that way. If you don't want to make a
Yeah, like I'm gonna make probably all of the NPCs that I'm spawning
Oh yeah, or give them a perk, Ether. That would work too. Like same thing.
Oh, yeah,
Perk would add a
totally,
spell that would detect. So you basically, when you place at me, you can just add your perk to them. It's a cleanup perk.
Oh, that's actually much better.
That's actually a lot.
That sounds really
cleaner than
nice.
Collection.
Yeah.
There you go.
Welcome
Done.
to how modders think, by the way, guys. We basically like run down 50 different bad
it's cool
ways.
because it rolls like. I'm actually kind of impressed with myself about how random it is because it trips me up all the time, and I'm like, is this a vanilla thing or my thing? And
No,
like
unless it's Synths or Railroad or somebody all fighting each other, no, it's yours.
Well, no, that's what. But what happens though is there was like a Brotherhood crash site that has no enemies in it in the vanilla game. There just happened to be Brotherhood versus Robot that spawned there. I don't know. It's just all these little things happen that are really cool that way. So,
well, I love coming in the middle of someone else's fight. Honestly, that really makes the world feel completely alive to me. It's not just like these cardboard cutouts waiting for like, oh, the player's here. Let's like move. Let's do our little song and dance for them. That's really what I don't know. What makes me feel like this is more than just like a
stage for the player. Yeah.
Like the whole world revolves around like what door I open and these things fire up. The Chuck E. Cheese band is quiet until I put the quarter in and then they sort of
yeah. That's how it felt in being a highlight. Like in Fallout 4, you level up so fast. I'm already like level 85 or something. I even had to cut the game setting that controls the XP rate in half just because I'm like, I don't want to level up every time I kill an enemy. But being that high level and having a lot of the zones set to not respawn in the vanilla game, which I changed, but I'd have to start over. The game is like fucking empty because I killed everything already. So that's what inspired me to make this mod. But yeah, there's it rolls like you can control the chances of whether it spawns one kind of group of enemies or two groups, and it'll do it randomly. So you'll get raiders versus mole rats, or robots versus robots, or whatever.
Tell me you use some of the mole rats with exploding backpacks because
yes,
awesome.
I was running around the coast and I got ambushed by like 3 exploding mole rats, and that was fun in survival. Because
does it make the spawns closer to one another? Because I found that so annoying in Boston.
No, so that's another thing that I did too. Is that basically it picks a radius around the player, and if it's
so you're using that function you gave me.
Yeah, so it's a radius around the player, like in the 4096 grid area. Picks a radius. If it's in the player's line of sight, it actually checks and moves it out of the way so you don't see stuff spawn in front of you. Sometimes you do if you spin around all the time like an idiot, but
it's the average mod user.
But then from there, once that anchor point is placed, then it rolls a random. I mean, I'm not going to go through the entire thing, but it basically rolls a random number which you can set.
Is it location based? Like
gunners. You only get gunners here. Right now, no, it's just wide open. So which feels kind of weird because right now, like I had like trigger men spawn in a swamp, and I'm like, so that's a little bit weird. So I got to control the locations. But anyway, in general, it scatters all the spawns around, especially if there's 2 groups, so that they end up in kind of different spots around the player. So it feels pretty organic. And again, it's got that snap to nav mesh function that they finally added. It will, if you're in a narrow alley with buildings, it'll spawn them on the roofs. So you can get ambushed by gunners and robots up on the roof shooting down at you. It feels pretty cool.
Hitting signal. Cool. You misspelled snapped.
What?
I'm not sure if anyone got that. Probably not.
Probably not. But I didn't catch that either.
There's this. You said snap to nav mesh, and I just reminded me of this forum thread that this guy made where he's basically raging because some guy banned him from his mods, and because he was trying to correct the guy for misspelling the word snapped.
Oh, that was
being an asshole.
That's pretty hilarious.
Recently, I think, right?
Yeah.
I miss out on all the fun shit now.
It's your own fault, Darren.
Actually, so building off that stuff from Fading Signal. So this is my whole interest in gaming. This is why I'm still working on organic factions. Is because I'd love like all my stuff is totally open. If you want to chit chat about this, like I don't know, in Reddit or wherever, I'm totally down for it. But like seriously, this type of random spawning, that's what makes the world feel alive. And I want to do something like very similar to that with organic factions. Not to plug all my own shit, but
no, I remember you mentioned that, and it sounded amazing.
Yeah, the idea is like you have these little groups that have like just like Game of Thrones, they have their own little power struggles, and they have people that want to rise through the ranks of their little tiny area that they control, and that they want to expand it as well. and then based on who's in charge, they have their own little personal kind of minions that they favor. You can have people that harvest resources and provide it for the entire group, and then depending on which leader you kill, the next one will rise up. Everyone bumps up a slot in the hierarchy, and then
it's kind of like the system in Shadow of Mordor a little bit, right?
Exactly. Yeah. Like I was so impressed by where they started with that. Like the fact that you can assassinate this orc and this other one moves up and he's under your control, or maybe he's very vulnerable to your attack techniques. Like he's vulnerable to archery or some shit, right? So it's like it's in your interest to even manipulate enemies, like people that you want to kill. It's in your interest to kind of to play with their power dynamics. And not only can you get the benefit of installing your puppet or someone in a position of power. I wanted to go one step further because Mordor ended at the killing part. I want to have it so like maybe you want that guy in a position of power because he has an alchemist, and then when the alchemist gets buffed enough, you can steal potions from that faction and never have to worry about buying them because you've set up the alchemist in that group to be powerful. So then they become like they're not your ally. They'd actually kill you if they caught you doing it. Sure. But you set things up so they become like a proxy resource for you, and it all depends on how the player plays around. And I even have a chance of random death if a leader gets assassinated or killed on some random mission. You could have your favorite guy in there, and he'll just drop dead, and then some other asshole comes into play, and like you're like, oh shit, there goes my there goes the control.
I really love the idea of like deferring game states. Like one of the things I really like looked good in the game but turned out to be so shit is when you're working for the Brotherhood and they tell you to basically enthrall settlements and take over. And I thought you would take over settlements as the Brotherhood, and the Minutemen would take over settlements, and they would kind of fight. But that didn't happen. So I kind of like the idea of like Minutemen and Brotherhood fighting because that strategic element, and that would be the one thing that would make one Fallout 4 game different from another Fallout 4 game. Because right now they're basically the same. Your second Fallout 4 game is the same as your first Fallout 4 game. And that would be really a good idea to make it different, to have that kind of different game state where, like, in one game you have the Minutemen fighting the Brotherhood, and in another you have Institute robots that have taken over Diamond City or something like that. And
that is awesome. That is exactly where I want to go with this, and I want to have like the overlapping cusps of the organic factions. So if like once you get to a certain stage, the whole thing is managed through quests and stages, and the organic faction's power will fluctuate. So if they have a lot of high level guys, their stage will advance, and then they push out to new territory. And then after a certain point, if there's a conflict, you can script it in. So there's a higher chance of death for certain leaders, in that if there's a contest, until one faction loses enough members, so their total, their net levels drop. That'll regress their stage, so they actually lose territory and they'll secede it to the other faction. That's how I'm coding the base thing right now.
I love the idea of like emergent gameplay, like because that kind of thing would create stories in game that are probably better than the actual main story of the game. Or like the Minutemen are like fighting a losing battle against the Brotherhood, but they're still holding out, and the Institute have like infiltrated this faction that you thought were there. It just like creates stories in your mind and actually wants to make you play the game again. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. No, seriously, that like I want every playthrough of whatever game I play to be different based on those variables, but also I want, if I go and approach one of those factions, I want to this opportunity to interact with the different leaders. The idea is not just to have these generic leaders that have, it's just this guy, whatever. Like I'm setting it up so each leader has they have their own level actor list but they level up independently of the player. So each person can gain their own power faster or slower than the player. It's semi-randomized. But then you can attach a story to each one of those. The idea is, maybe this one mid-level leader in this one faction actually would negotiate with the player, while everyone else is like fucking kill that guy. So if you wipe out the people above that guy and he ascends to the top, you can negotiate a relationship with him, with him or her, and then have that alliance. And then you actually want to protect that person. And protect their resources, because if they get in conflict with another faction, that guy might get taken out, and then you have someone else coming into power. They may hate your guts, or maybe you have to pay a bribery thing or something to keep them friendly with you. But they may actually extend friendship, or even they may even include you in their faction, so you get their protection. But it's all very individual, and it's based on the leader. It's just, for me, it was just like thinking of Game of Thrones. Like, how do you get, like, think of all the little micro alliances and betrayals and all that stuff that goes on in the background. It's all anchored to these individual nobles that rise up through the ranks. So, like, how fucking rad would it have that in a game where it's not just, the pre-programmed Stormcloaks versus the Imperials. It's a bunch of these little tiny factions in these different territories. But then you have like 4 or 5 unique leaders that where you can make these deals. You can build these relationships, and like, you're sad. Like, if that person dies, you're like, fuck. Not only was that person super cool, but like, now I'm not safe traveling in that zone. Or maybe even like prices go up because merchants can't travel in the werewolf zone because the only non-violent werewolf got taken out. Now they're raiding merchant caravans, and everything in the Reach costs like 1,000 fucking gold. Like, what the hell? So I would fucking love it if that were a staple of modern gaming. If that were just like the default, and somehow it's not.
Reintroducing macroscopic world experience to games that have focused so much on the microscopic player and just things happening around that player. I think that's a cool idea too. I really like. You have all of us on board. Like, I think the real question is, like, for me anyways, I mean, I've told you this before on Reddit, like, it's a question of implementation. I mean, all of these ideas sound great, but the way to implement them is difficult. It's not trivial. It's not like you can just go in there and be like, oh, I just pop in a neural network here. And
And I think one of the bigger issues too, just from making an assumption on the part of the developer's perspective. Like, if you had I'm sure there were meetings like this, at Bethesda when they were talking about all these things. I guarantee there's people in there that have huge ideas and huge dreams that get quashed constantly. But, QAing this kind of a thing and being able to play it out and keep track of everything, evolving and changing and being like, oh, we don't know how the game is going to react. Not to say that it's not possible, but for something like a Bethesda game, that's a tall order, just because it can evolve sideways. But so I can kind of see the perspective from some developers of why that's like lower on their list. But
kind of you talking about that fading really reminds me of the development for Hello Games No Man's Sky. Like, they talk about how their game just surprises them all the time.
Yeah,
honestly, I think that's a good thing.
It's very possible to do.
I cannot wait for No Man's Sky. By the way, I'm such a nerd.
I'm so pumped for it myself. I mean, I'm on board with you. Like,
I've watched their demos. People are like, I was so skeptical at first, but a lot of their demos and shit, I'm like, yeah, I'd fucking play that. Like, I just jump on, play for a couple hours. Like, man, it's fun.
Honestly, like, I don't really care if the gameplay even isn't as good. It isn't very good, because I just like it for the technical fact that they're procedurally generating a universe. Just like, fuck, take my money.
I was kind of blown away at that too. I was like, wow, are they really just fucking, as you're going through, procedurally generating the whole thing? That is awesome. Like, that is fucking great.
Yeah.
I'm a total fan of procedural generation on a lot of ends. I think that in some ways it's great to have an open territory and go into it. There was a great discussion we had on. Believe it or not, on Reddit, it was a good one about this and how people there's a gradient that I think people like when it comes to storyline. And like, if you're going into like a randomized dungeon, this is what I didn't understand before. Some people actually want it to be randomized. They just want to go to the unknown crypt of the what the fuck ever and like kill, because they're going to be monsters in there because it's a crypt, right? And then there's going to be a treasure because they're monsters. So like, it's just a random everything. And they have to go in and kill stuff, and then there's the cool sword of whatever at the bottom that they get, and then it's on to the next level. And I didn't realize that people had an interest in doing it without kind of a story attached to it. That I thought that I came from the perspective that in order to be really engrossing and enthralling and engaging, you had to have like, why the fuck am I going in here? Like, what's the legacy? Like, why are there these giant skeleton things?
Role playing.
Yeah, seriously. Like, why are they here? Like, I don't. If I walk into a place,
well, my point is, like, you don't necessarily have to give them that reason. They can come up with it themselves, because that's role playing in a nutshell. D&D, Dungeons and Dragons. I've never played it or anything, but that's basically what it's about. So
loser.
Yeah.
Why are you modding and like you never played any type of cheeses? No pen and paper RPGs. Fuck you.
I'm sorry.
No, he's not. I guess he's not. He doesn't have that nerd card exactly. I definitely do.
I mean, I played D&D literally once, so.
Aw.
I stayed away from it because it scared me for the longest time. All of the math.
It's evil, and you're gonna be. Oh, not that kind. Okay. I was
But,
like, I
but
love the. You're gonna be
the
a
newest
Satan
version's
worshiper.
simple enough. So
No, I think that what's his name? Esther Productions, is that her name?
Ether dynamics.
Ether Dynamics.
Yeah. No, I think that's like really ambitious. It's like the exact opposite to the Radiant Quest, because that your idea actually makes me feel like I'm immersed in the game. Where the reason I really don't like the Radiant Quest is because it makes it a game, and you feel like you're playing a game. You know?
Well,
That's a good point.
The funny thing is with Radiant Quest 2 is they could be done so much better because it's you can actually, how to put it, like they could have, like the Radiant Quest there's what, 4 of them, like Dingo Stole My Baby, fucking I don't even know, that's the only one I know is the fucking like Super Mutants Stole My Kid. But I mean, that's what it all feels like. It feels like it was the same shit over and over again. Whereas they could have just worked on it and made like 30 of them with slight variations in them, and it could.
Yeah, I would have been happy with like 5.
Yeah,
but it was basically just like they would say like, "Oh, they're stealing our food. Go kill them. They're doing this. Go kill them." I mean, they would. Yeah, it was basically just kill everything.
At least
Kill
make
everything!
it so there was repercussions. Like you go to your place and it's a fortress. You've got 700 defense, and they're like, they broke in and stole my kid, and you're like, what the fuck were you doing? Like, show up and have your place burning, people dead on the ground. Like, just kill random settlers. I don't care if they're fucking, essential. Like, have them dead and people like. I mean, that wouldn't have been that hard to do. And so now your whole settlement's devastated, and then based off the defense of your settlement, make the fucking things you're fighting that much harder. Like, you go in and it's just generic super mutant number 7.
Yeah.
Like,
It just dies with one shot from a cannon or a turret.
If your defense was 700, make it so you're fighting like all legendary super mutants, like just little things.
It just doesn't feel immersive. Like what Esther described, it was like, that sounds like something in the world, like the Brotherhood fighting a war with the Minutemen. Radiant Quest is like, go and save your kid from the super mutants. It's like, well, it just sounds like a generic event, and this is a generic game, and I don't feel like
Are you kidding me? I'm finding a way. I am finding 100. I'm gonna figure out where that's all set up, and I am adding Columbia to the Radiant Quests because I seriously want fucking Garvey to send you to a flying fucking city and have him be like, well, there's a problem there, and then the settler would be like, super mutants snuck in and stole our baby. Like, you're a mile above the city, fuckers. I so want to do that because somebody pointed that out. They're like, God damn it! If Preston Garvey sends
you don't
me
need to
there-
make it flowing. There's a million other ways. You could literally do it in a day. You could do it right now. You could just do it in a vault that's never been opened. Somehow Preston Garvey somehow finds out that they've somehow had somebody stolen. Fucking don't matter how, but you just need to convince people, who are already convinced.
I just want to overwrite it though, so that the only place Preston Garvey sends you is Columbia. Like, it's a flying
Just make a load of
city.
these impossible fucking locations, like somebody's out on a ship. These fucking hamsters, they teleported on here and like stole half the people. And, we're all wearing power armor. It doesn't matter.
Some settlers in outer space need your help.
Fucking have Preston Garvey send you to the Enclave saying
My space station needs your help. Super mutants broke in and stole my daughter. Well,
stole
fuck,
they stole
let them.
potatoes.
I'm done. I'm not fucking with super mutants flying spaceships. Done.
Intergalactic
Out.
potato farming.
That's when it becomes Doom.
There you go.
Shit, we've gone to a different game there.
I really want more enemy types. Like, I just going through, there's really only like a couple of enemies in Fallout 4. They put, there's a lot of fucking bugs, but I literally, like, there's the bloat flies, the whatchamacallit, the sting wings, all that stuff, the rad scorpions, but I think on the rest of it, they sort of skimped a little. Like, we don't have the weird creatures like the centaurs and all that kind of stuff.
Well, do you know what's interesting is one of the things that I was reading about Gears of War, which made a lot of sense because Gears of War, it suffered from the same thing that you just said. There wasn't a whole lot of enemy types except for
Locust.
But see, they focused on 3 different types. They focused on mirrors, pinners, and flushers. And that's what they basically went down the list on, which is mirrors were basically you, and they could do whatever you could do. So that's just your generic, humanoid type. And then flushers were meant to knock you out of cover, and pinners were meant to keep you in cover. And they executed all three of those in different varieties to keep the gameplay moving and flowing. Whereas in Fallout, all we basically have is mirrors and shit.
Yeah.
And it's like the shit isn't even flushers or pinners. It's just shit.
Everyone still just runs at you full bore with like a fork in their hand. Yeah, it just never.
Yeah. Okay, that's I'm trying not to plug my own shit too much, but that was the inspiration for why I wrote and released the enhanced AI framework, is to give everybody like the ability to have these modular plugins. Like, you don't need to code this stuff from scratch. You just grab a module. Oh, this guy's going to be a flanker. You attach that spell. You're done. If you want this guy to be a support character, to provide buffs for people, great. If you want him to be someone that goes in and to be an offensive controller and weakens an opposing force, you literally just add that spell in, like the AI spell in, and not only does that regulate their behavior, it also makes them cast a spell or do that kind of stuff for you. So it's just like it's like Legos but for AI. You just click, you're done.
That's cool.
So. And I really want these to be completely like I'm planning on releasing all the source code for organic factions. I want people to dig in there and not just see the crap that I've done. I want them to to improve upon it. If they think there's better efficiency, if they think there's a better way of addressing it, or a way to make it more modular, like that would make me ecstatic, to give people the ability to literally just like drop in and click in these different attributes or these these different these objects that give that actor that much more versatility. The more modular that we can all make that, the better. That opens the doors for a lot of people to start experimenting and do more stuff. So
that's cool. While we're on the topic of wish list stuff, I guess I'm still really hoping for more, voiced quest stuff. I actually have just been. Somebody released, thankfully, the entire spreadsheet that has all of the dialogue in it.
It was Zilab, I believe.
Oh, it's awesome. So it's easy to go through and kind of scan and see if the player ever said like, okay, sure, I'll do it, or said, you know what I mean? But the only problem is that there's so much generic dialogue. Every quest mod is basically going to have the player character being like, yes, your responses are going to be literally what they should, like. Yes.
See, I've actually looked through the problem with that is that while the female actor keeps her voice relatively neutral, the male actor sounds like he's coming over every line. So every word is like, you're going to do that now. So like you can't actually match up the sentences. I've tried it. So if you've got like the perfect line for the actor, the male actor is just like, I can't use the same line.
Sure. Yeah, that's why I'm saying like it's going to be hard to cut stuff up. You're going to have to find like the exact line or snip out like a single word, like "I," "yes," "okay,"
And part of that's what we've been doing with the script for 273, but another issue we have with it is when we give the player choice, well, apparently if you don't give them 4, you end up with 2 blank ones, which is just going to be so goddamn annoying. Like, basically what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to fill those 2 blank ones with an empty audio file that when executed in the game for the script at the end of it...
Dance.
No, when it executes, it needs to revert you back to that scene in the scene list. Because that's your only option. Like, what's your options? You have to give them 4 options right now, and you only have 2. So you need to make the other 2 just loop back to the same one. So if they select it, it just brings up the same menu again.
You make one of them dance and one of them punch. So basically, any response.
Actually, I just need to fill the audio with "fuck you, Todd Howard" and "Pete Hines is a dick," and that's what those 2 will just go to and re-loop back in. Like, whoever thought that was a great idea? Like, we support mod authors. Fuck you, you fucking fucks. I wish
somebody
can Todd Howard come on stream so I can just tell him to fuck off and then kick him. Yeah, all of you guys would be cringing so bad, and I would do it without a second thought.
If somebody ever like completely revoiced the player characters,
there's 12,750 lines of dialogue. It ain't happening.
There's no way. I know it ain't happening.
Not happening.
They were recording it for like 2 years.
You know what you do? You just create a new player character.
Well, you can actually, you can, and then you can assign like new shit, like, but that would be so hard, like fucking.
He wants me to do it.
Make it all silent. Well, yeah, just the all silent.
Honestly, I think the correct solution to the issue of voicing is to have really good procedurally generated voices and audio, like I don't know what the fuck it's called, whatever it's called, voice synthesis.
Oh, like text to speech? Yeah, I don't know. That always kills it for me, man.
I mean,
there
it
are
ruins
some
the
good ones.
experience,
It's
but at
getting
least
better
then it's
and better and better, though.
True.
Yeah.
But it still doesn't sound like the main dude. Like you'd have one of him being like, "I'd like to trade some items." The next one would be like, "Hello, I would like to trade." You'd be like, "Whoa, what?" Like,
You might be able to
on hold
cut
with
some words
right now?
and put them together and make a whole new file.
Yeah, and I
I've
mean,
seen
there's
people do that.
and there's enough unused dialogue of just kind of generic expressions. Like, "Why would you do that?" And whatever that you can.
Yeah.
Whatever.
I guess this might be something that you can use. What is that thing called? The Amazon Mechanical Turk.
I've heard of that.
Yeah, it's a funny name. Like you'd have to lock it down to one person per NPC, but it's hella cheap, and you could just get it. Basically just for a couple bucks, get people to to random people around the world to just vomit back these scripts at you, and you're like, okay, well, I got 4 people for this actor. That one's pretty good. I'll just use all those dialogues and stuff. So it's not too bad, and again, it's like we're talking like 10 cents per minor task.
Oh, sure, true. I'm talking like just like main player character, like NPCs. It's a lot easier because they're new and fresh. You can do whatever you want.
Yeah. But yeah, it's hard to get someone who's consistent and also is just not terrible, right? Like I would love to save your child from. Oh, God damn it.
Or not recording with like a Logitech gaming mic and being like, "What? It's high quality mic." Like it's not the same thing. But like in Skyrim, thankfully, like with interesting NPCs over time, more and more like people with professional gear and whatever recorded lines. There's still a few that when I'm talking with them in the game, I feel like I'm Skyping with somebody in like 2004. Like they sound like they're in a tunnel, and it's all like, "Oh."
We had this discussion about voice actors too, because we're doing a radio station and shit. And the interesting thing is that for $70-$80 you can get a snowball or something that will sound professional and sound great. And
they just put a blanket over your head, so there's no room echo.
I've actually got one voice actor who literally just made like a box out of blankets and shit and puts it behind her when
That's
she records.
all you really need,
Noise canceling. And it's a decent mic and you're good to go. And it's like, and the funny thing is that we discussed, because we're doing a talk radio station, so we're gonna have people calling in and like random shit. Like we're doing like the crazy talk radio, like coast to coast. So it's gonna be great.
That's awesome.
Like Super Mutant ate my baby, or I got probed by alien shit like that. It's gonna be fucking great, like paranormal shit in the wasteland. But we were discussing it, and we're like, well, there's tons of people on like the casting call club and other places who they always audition and they have shitty mics, and you kind of feel sorry for them because even if they sound like they're really into it and doing the character great, the mic quality kills it for you. And something we discussed was, well, we can actually give tons of these people fucking, profile shit, like shit they can say and throw out there, because we're doing a radio station. They can sound like shit. Yeah. Like we can actually doctor their audio up to sound like they're on a really bad cell phone or some shit, right?
Which is kind of that would actually improve the mod, because it wouldn't sound,
And that's what we're like, wow, so we're going to be able to just take tons and tons of people. If we turn them down for stuff, we can be like, well, come on in here and do our radio station and just be a freaky caller about some crazy shit, like just a mole rat conspiracy.
Yeah,
like the mole rats are getting together to take over the Commonwealth.
That's true, because I hired a voice actor and stuff like that. And so, oh god, I'm really sorry. I think I was hiring a voice actor to voice a robot. And the voice actor was like, "Oh, I think my mic will sound like shit," and I'm like, "You're a robot."
Like, yeah, that's actually okay. That's preferable.
That's pretty funny.
Robot. Just do an entire mod of robots. And you don't have to worry about any of the voice actors.
Well, we had that suggestion earlier about the robot mod, the robot follower.
Fading wasn't here. That's right. I told him I'd voice a robot follower if somebody made it, where you have to recharge him by shoving power cords up his ass.
To be fair, I realize everyone in this chat hates Automatron, but I liked the DLC, but after that I was like, no more robots. I'm done with robots.
Yeah.
Well,
after it hosed my save, I'm like, fuck that.
Whoops.
But I thought it was kind of fun. The ending was stupid, but yeah.
Spoilers, I haven't played it yet.
What's that?
I don't give a
shit. Sorry, I won't spoil anything.
I don't give a shit.
Yeah, your fusion core in the ass robot would be like Fisto's cousin or something. Son of Fisto.
Oh shit! Hey, you guys, thank you so much. I'm gonna have to peel out in just a minute.
Yeah, I'm actually gonna shut down the stream here in a few minutes anyway.
Yeah, it's been way too long.
We're going to see Captain America: Civil War, which Waffling Signal was invited to, and never fucking like solidified a time. Nothing. He's just. I think he's chained to that.
I'm the
desk,
worst. I promise it'll happen at some point. Also, driving to Long Beach to see a movie sounds terrible, to be honest.
It's 30 minutes.
You're all in LA, right?
I do realize you have to get the 10 minutes out of we can't drive Koreatown, but
yeah, that's getting out of my area is a bitch.
Jesus, I know. We fucking when we went there to go meet MXR, I was like, really? The one place in this whole fucking state where you've got to drive. Yeah, 15 minutes off the freeway. It's your.
Well, and there's also my area. They're building down Wilshire. They're building subway. And
yeah.
So all these closures everywhere. It's just like it's a fucking.
And then they can't drive. They fucking can't drive. They seriously can't fucking drive. I'm racist as all get out with stereotypes, but I didn't even realize it. I was driving for like 8 minutes and cussing at tons of drivers. My friend who was with me, she's like, "You realize where we are, right?" And I'm like, "Oh, god damn it, fucking Koreatown!" Like.
See, that's why I walked everywhere when I lived in Koreatown, because you.
Yeah, I've been walking everywhere to like this area has developed a lot, and like I take Lyft everywhere if I'm going to go out because everything's like 5 minutes away. So my poor car is in the garage like 80% of the time now.
I just wanted to park outside the city and walk
nice
in.
living next to things.
Hey, what? Somebody asked. Somebody said my name. What?
I'm just gonna say like who's in LA? I'm in Orange County. So where are you guys at?
I'm in Lakewood.
Santa Barbara.
Koreatown. Where are you at, Mater?
Santa Barbara.
You guys need to hit me up next time because I'm fucking just going out and doing shit with MXR, and I'm like, I can't get any fucking modders to leave their goddamn house.
I don't have a car.
It's hot out.
Light.
If I had a car, I'd
It burns.
go,
All right, we'll do it at 3 a.m., dude.
It's weird. Like there's a lot of us in California. It's kind of weird. It's like California, Germany are kind of like the two.
It really is. It's California and Germany and parts of Europe and shit. Everybody else is like spattered.
Well, if anyone ever comes up to Santa Barbara, I'm down to hang.
Where the
So
hell is Santa Barbara again?
Oh fuck it,
It's
dude!
just
Hell
right
yeah!
there.
You've never been to Santa Barbara?
I've only lived down here for like 6 years. I don't remember anything.
See, the problem is everyone in California except me and fucking Ann Lee are up north.
Yeah,
Santa
well, more or less.
Barbara. Oh Jesus, you're a ways out there. Oh fuck!
I'll say, at least you're not like me, not too.
We're not going to you,
country.
dumbass. You're coming down here. Holy shit!
Yeah.
What
Yeah,
is it, like
we
an
should
hour,
do,
about an hour and a half away, maybe. with
LA's
traffic?
kind of in between all the northern and I'm all like, everybody come to LA, of course, because then we could do like a California mod meetup at some point. That would actually be kind of cool.
that would be sick, actually.
I'd be down for that. Yeah.
I,
Be like
I offered with the Ren Fair
nerdiest
shit.
event ever. It'd be great.
See, I just gotta like take a fucking train up there and shit because I don't have a car anymore.
Okay, yeah.
I used to live like in Long Beach. I lived on 4th Street, and before that, I lived over on Wilshire.
Mm-hmm.
I was at the St. Andrews Apartments.
We'll have a mod get together and we'll all go to Catalina. How's that sound?
Oh, are you paying for the Catalina trip?
Paying for the sunscreen, like.
I don't necessarily have to pay for the Catalina trip. I can borrow my in-laws' boat, but
Oh, fancy! A small loan of $1 million.
a small loan of $1 million.
Are you gonna be hiring some strippers for this yacht trip?
No.
No.
He's gonna be the stripper.
Oh. I'm okay with that.
Bow chicka bow wow.
All right, guys. Yeah, sorry I hopped on so late, but it's good to see everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's shut this thing down. Everybody say bye-bye to everybody.
Shut it down.
Bye.
Thank you.
Goodbye.
I gotta find out how to shut the stream down.
Bye.
Now. I'm an idiot.
I love that was your last word.
See you guys.
Make America great
Wait,
again.
no. My last word should be Dark One's a cunt.